Why is China creating re-education camps in Xinjiang? Chinese understand the concept, religion, in a very different way from how Abrahamic religions culture view religion. This topic has been discussed numerous times on Quora and has brought many brilliant answers. Since I can't find any link to them now, I shall try to explain myself. Chinese do not regard your belief as your identity, but a career choice or philosophy preference. Therefore they believe that education, or brainwash, whatever you call it, can bring your worldview into a better or worse way. And in general Chinese believe nurture much more than nature. If the angry extremists are born with neutral nature and brainwashed into extremists, they can certainly regain a healthy worldview and inner peace after careful re-education. That's the idea. I also understand a bit the worries of religious or racial oppression among people from especially Abrahamic religions cultures, for they have in history experiences of being oppressed and records of doing that themselves. But Chinese atheists communists did not invite monks to gas chambers after seizing the power, and Han Chinese did not incarcerate Manchurian Chinese in concentration camps after ending Manchurian ruling. The most bloody example of religious oppression in China might be some campaigns over Buddhism. For Buddhist persecutions in China, Wikipedia, some Chinese Buddhists are still condemning and cursing online now, but even these campaigns were more about destroying temples and sutras, killing senior monks and preventing normal people from becoming monks. Say, you need to learn enough Buddhism knowledge to pass a Buddhism entrance exam. When Buddhism a whole was regarded as damaging, rulers were trying to evict the bad thoughts from people instead of erasing all existing Buddhists. And now Beijing claims the campaign is targeted Islamic extremism. Communism is atheistic and China has always been a very secularized society. We don't discriminate atheists at all, we are ruled by atheists. They would have proudly admitted that their target is a harmful religion, as a whole if it were. And even NYT's leaked documents mention that there were proposals to eliminate Islam entirely, but got rejected by Xi. That's why sometimes freedom of religion is better protected in a secularized society. Atheists recognize good parts in religions and don't hate religious people, while many monoteists have a much more radical attitude to any person with heresy. And they do not understand or believe how open-minded atheists could be. We honestly and sincerely don't hate you as you hate us. And Chinese Communism Party has switched to a fairly mild policy on religions a long time ago, not pursuing the elimination of religions at home. I am not saying there are never racial conflicts in China and every religion and every ethical group loves each other and gets along perfectly well. No, that will be impossible. But it's not really our tradition to let the majority put a group of hated but ordinary Chinese into prisons or camps and to collect their fortunes, or organize an army to rob them because they are rich in the name of God. Why build re-education camps? Because after all the terrorist attacks, China believes terrorists are not born evil terrorists, they are made. They could have had a fulfilled life as well. If you convert potential extremists to people who enjoy their life, there will be no more terrorism victims. And this convert can be done by taking lessons. If the re-education camp is such a bad behavior as Western politicians and media claim, you'd better ask yourself a question: why CCP Chinese government input so much resources to do it? What are the benefits? Please understand CCP's logic of thinking and their methodology. Background: as Roger mentioned in the previous answer, there were some quite severe terrorist attacks by Uyghurs all over China in past 10 to 20 years. However, this is just the tip of iceberg. Besides these attacks, there is a trend of fundamentalization or radicalization of Uyghur Muslims under the global influence of Wahhabism. Most of Uyghur Muslims are Sunnis. You could find out that more Uyghur men having the big beard and women having black niqab. And children attending underground religious schools instead of public school, which are alienated from ethnic Uyghur tradition as modest Muslims and are considered as the fertile soil of jihadists by CCP. The goal of CCP is to establish Xinjiang a secular, peaceful, prosperous homeland for all the residents including Hans, Uyghurs and other ethnic minorities. If CCP allowed the terrorism and radicalization developing on their own course, Xinjiang would have been on the way toward a failure province in China. It is a big problem and threat for Chinese government as well as any other legitimate governments in the world, especially those in West Europe. Now imagine that a patient is suffering a malice cancer. What will be the standard treatment process by a doctor? This is exactly same case that CCP handle the Xinjiang problem.